On today's episode, we're going to install an XJ steering shaft on an 84 K5 Blazer. On a previous episode, we installed the Borgeson steering shaft on my 88 K5 Blazer that we call Plan B. I'll link that video down in the description. For this episode, we're going to go with the alternative, which is the XJ steering shaft. We're going to be installing that on an 84 K5 Blazer that we call Spare Parts. Come along and I'll show you just how easy this upgrade is. The first step is deciding how you want to get your XJ shaft. You can either visit your local junkyard, search around, hope you can find an XJ, and then hope that it has the parts you need. Or you can pull out your smartphone or computer, visit our Amazon store at www.amazon.com/shop/uintergarage. Then scroll down to the bottom and select bearing and shaft upgrade. And in this folder, we already have a steering shaft that we know will work on the late 80s K5 Blazers. Let's get this project started by first locating your steering shaft and then removing this hardware. First, we'll remove this upper bolt. Now, remove the bolt down on the steering box side. Using a torch, heat the center section of the steering shaft up, melting the plastic insert here. This will allow you to collapse the steering shaft easily. Now that we've melted the plastic retainer on this steering shaft, we're going to pry down here by the steering box so we can collapse the steering shaft. Now we'll remove the upper portion of the steering shaft. Grab it right here, wiggle and pull down. Now it's time to install the XJ steering shaft. Look for this flat spot inside of here and you match it up with the flat spot down there on your steering box. Go ahead and slide that on. And then stick a bolt through there just to hold it in place. Then extend this up and slide it on there. Okay, once you have this slid up the whole way, take a Sharpie and mark exactly where the back of the shaft is. The reason for this is the XJ shaft has a bolt that goes through the bottom and we need to make a notch in it. And so we're going to use this Sharpie mark here and measure off to figure out exactly where we need to put the notch. So now we'll pull this off and I'll show you where that notch is. Okay, can you rotate it up? In the back here, you can see a bolt's gonna go right there, kind of across the back, right here. So we've got to make just a small little notch. So here's what we're thinking is gonna make this easy. Since that's gonna be on the bottom of this shaft here, we're actually gonna go in and turn the steering wheel so that the bottom of that is facing upwards. And then we'll mark where to make the notch. We'll just use a grinder to put a little notch in there. Right there. On our shaft, it ended up being about 3/8 to the center where we need to make a little notch. Okay, it doesn't take much. You can just put a little notch in it and rotate that steering wheel back over and bolt it in. The last step is just tightening these bolts. These ones happen to be a 1/2 inch. Verify on the XJ shaft that you get, but it should be the same. All right, well, that pretty much sums it up for this video. As you can see, it was a really easy installation and I highly recommend you do it. If you found this information useful or helpful at all, do us a favor and like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. I'm Joe, and this is You Went to Garage.